All right. All right. Ready, boys?
Good catch up, guys.
Good catch up. We'll do Glassfield next week. You'll do. I'll be on vacation, so I'll probably do a podcast.
Where are you going?
Staycation, baby.
Staycation.
Gonna
you
play.
got stuff to record.
I come over here and help me fucking track vocals.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over here.
Teachcation.
All right. Here's our opening.
We're going on a hunt to kill gorilla sized
Ritual to skin some special forces fighters.
rolling in hard because we're armed to the teeth.
Can't see me, I'm invisible, dancing to the beat.
Knock, knock, get down. Listen to the sound of the chop. We're going to make you drop to the ground.
Together with a play, think I'll go out and play, collect all the skills and prove that I can play.
There's a hole in Jesse Benford's chest. Propose is a beast or just cardiac arrest. Mark is blasting his minigun fest. Let's follow his lead and destroy the forest.
Oh, motherfuckers, y'all shot me. You should let me know you wanna party. I'll blow my cut, put Dylan to bed, and I'll polish Billy Joe, I'm the red, I'm a predator.
Drop face.
Predator.
Alien the razor.
Predator.
That is the hunted.
Predator.
We have to keep moving because it's aliens. The dog on their poncho is dead. So get to the chopper. Covered with mud. Attaching to the side. To hide my body heat from infrared eyes. Film the movie. So I start to stick unplanned.
I came here to battle, so get ready to dance now. I'm a predator.
Drop face.
Predator.
Alien the razor.
Predator.
That is the hunted.
Predator.
Click to the right to see more city cartoons, or click to the left to subscribe. Do it now!
Welcome to the Zanzeezeepodcast podcast with Raddad 2023, The Beard, Swipe Right Mike, and Saddad. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for us to talk about The Predator. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Talk about a movie, boys. And this is a boys cast. We're on the interwebs, YouTube, Zanzeezeepodcast podcast. Holy shit, what a movie. Josh, I know you got some things to say.
Yeah, this movie's all right.
For all intents and purposes, this is your favorite movie of all time.
It's certainly one of them. For many years, undoubtedly my favorite movie, but it kind of wavers.
I get you. I mean, this is Masculine Energy, the movie.
In every way, shape, and form, man.
8 boners going to the Amazon. You've got Austrian boner, who's like, "Rah!" And then you've got his other boner that he shakes hands with, the black boner. And then they meet Indian boner, and then they get on a helicopter.
Ventura boner.
Well, future governor boner.
Is there a joke about a boner on the helicopter?
No, it's about pussy.
Yeah, it's about pussy. That's big as a house.
Then there's a woman that has a boner, but it's the clit.
Right.
Yeah. I get my sexual things mixed up every once in a while. Man and girl, it's hard for me to get them straight.
Oh man, you're married, aren't you?
Yeah, but I can't remember what things are called.
Well, the black boner is also a CIA double agent. Oh, spoiler alert. CIA agent.
You son of a bitch.
But that's the thing that's so awesome about the movie is the John McTiernan film before he got into big trouble with the government. But this guy is an action film director, and the movie is so iconic. I mean, it was a surprise hit. Like, Fox didn't know it had such a big hit on its hands. And I think what it does, other than having one of the most iconic scores by Alan Silvestri, what you're hearing in the background, amazing. I used to walk to school with this thing in my head, just like looking around like oak trees in Plainwell, Michigan, waiting for the Predator to duck out.
Grabbing a giant log and pretending it's a.
Did you ever see one?
I never did. But the truth is,
Bummer.
the Predator. Let's talk about the alien of this movie, the foreign boner with a pussy face.
I want to say that this is
got
like
crabs.
the first Expendables movie. Would you say?
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
or at least it was something that specifically, I would say, that would have been a solid blueprint to go off of.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the 80s and 90s, we were just mass producing these movies. I mean, even the subpar movies, like say that Jean-Claude Van Damme was in,
Damn.
were still awesome. Like
Oh,
Hard
fuck
Target's
yeah.
in my top 10 favorite action movies of all time. Time Cop is awesome. And also, Josh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you at this time you had Commando
Which was
come out
sick.
2 years, I think, before
I loved
Predator.
that movie when I was a kid.
And at the same time, you have one Sly Stallone doing the Rambo movies because it was like they were battling each other.
Yeah.
And I thought about this so many times. Imagine if Schwarzenegger and Stallone just from the get go, like, let's be buddies. Let's do this. Like Stallone in this movie would have been astronomically huge.
Who would have taken the lead?
I mean, he could have almost played the part of Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan played incredibly well by Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme,
He originally was supposed to be the Predator.
true.
Really, the actual Predator.
Yeah.
They filmed a scene of him running through the forest in what was originally the Predator costume.
It looks like a giant praying mantis.
I mean, was he super duper short? I mean, isn't he pretty short?
Probably, yeah, because Michael Peter Hall, is that his name? The guy who was Predator, he was in Predator 2. He was what was the big one with the Sasquatch?
Oh, that gives me chills. That
Music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it still to this day the little bongos or whatever
Yeah.
make the hair stand up on the back of my neck. Freaks me out still. Like,
Yeah.
and
This
don't
is
get
a movie of practical
Oh.
effects.
well,
And it has
Henry
it,
the Henderson,
it-
by the
it-
way.
Yeah.
When you
Karen Anderson.
when you were a kid, this shit was creepy.
and that's what it is, really. I mean, I think as adults, I'm so kind of accustomed to seeing horror movies. I mean, my wife and I watch horror movies constantly, and it's like nothing really gets me like that. You know what I mean? Like you can watch something and like, oh, that was kind of freaky, cool, whatever, and just go to bed. But like when you hear those little toms or the little
That right there.
it puts me back in my childhood body,
Yeah.
and it scares the shit out of me. Oh God,
Did
Not
it-
to
yeah.
mention also the thermal vision.
yeah.
There was something about that and the way the voices were distorted. It was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It is so creepy.
Is it weird that back door is wide open and
Yeah.
anything
I'm gonna shut it right now.
to come out
Hang on.
there?
Our childhood fears are coming out.
Oh, oh, great! That was caught.
That wasn't.
Predator got him.
You know what? Though that's actually like the third time I've done that while we've had podcasts. I think I've fallen on my chair a couple of times.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Oh God. Oh boy. Oh geez. Well, now you're really gonna have to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
This is the perfect time for you to have a drop on here. Predator.
Yeah. Well, but yes. So the plot of the movie: an alien spacecraft deploys a shuttle to Earth, where Vietnam War veteran Major Alan Dutch Schaefer and his military rescue team, consisting of Mac, Poncho, Blaine, Billy, and Hawkins, are tasked with rescuing a foreign cabinet minister and his aide from insurgents in an unspecified South American country. CIA officer Al Dillon, a Vietnam War buddy of Dutch's, is assigned to accompany the team over Dutch's objections. En route, the team discovers the wreckage of a helicopter and 3 skinned corpses.
I can't believe you just went over there without going, Dylan.
That's what you're
son
there.
of a bitch.
When the two boners shake hands, it's the ultimate gift of all time.
It is.
It's a fact that when my older brother and he lives across the country, and when we see each other, it's every few years, that's how we greet each other. They're like, Josh, you son of a bitch. And then what's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils. Yeah.
so many iconic lines. Like, I mean,
What's just a fucking tie?
yeah. Well, that or
Stick
like,
around.
yeah, or when he points at the
around.
girl and he says, "Hey, ma'am, please go to the helicopter." Right?
By the way, I'm such a nerd for this movie. I'm so pissed off at myself right now
Why?
because I said earlier the actor's name was Michael Peter Hall, Kevin Peter Hall.
Ah,
It's those little things that make me so mad.
You son of a bitch.
Were you thinking Michael C. Hall from Dexter?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, again, we're not going to go in too much of an order. We'll talk about the details behind the scenes. The movie is amazing. 20th Century Fox, Alan Silvestri, John McTiernan, written by Jim Thomas and John Thomas, produced by Lawrence Cornyn, Joel Silver, John Davis, and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers as Dylan.
What's depressing is you,
What's that?
you look at the actors and how old they are now. Fuck, man.
It's weird. It's okay. Carl Weathers is fantastic in The Mandalorian. Arnold's been doing good with his Netflix, being the action CEO or whatever. I love Arnold. I always have.
Mhm.
Even when he was Republican governor, I was like, it's okay. He'll come back. He'll be back. He'll go back to movies. He'll still be my good old Arnold.
Arnie. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
He's kind of like one of the, I don't want to get political, but he's good. I
Yeah.
like him and his little ponies that run around videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
Zulu and
Mimi or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
come here, let me feed you carrots.
You know what we need though? Like just thinking about that, like we need a remake of the original Predator with Will Sasso as Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger filter and the voice the entire time.
Will Sasso's amazing.
Arnold is incredible.
Check out his podcast, Dude Z. It's really great. He does impressions on it all the time. But what were you gonna say, Josh?
I'm just remembering because when we did a podcast about a year ago, and I believe we casted a Predator remake. There it is again. God damn.
See this happens every time.
TJ takes his headphones off each time that little sound
Bongos,
comes in.
yeah. I don't know what it is. I can't do it right now.
See, I think of the bongo cat when I hear it, and that just makes it a little bit easier to.
I mean, look, this is a movie that's weird for me because as scary as the Predator was in the movie, I still kind of thought he was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I still wanted to be like, what are you?
Yeah,
Or be like,
the end fight is just iconic.
I mean, we can talk about certain scenes. I mean, obviously, you've got boners shooting down the jungle, which is fun to watch. See, like a minigun in action, just literally just deforestation for like a solid 5 minutes.
There was actually a
They annihilated the entire rainforest during the filming of that movie.
I mean, they let it rip.
There was scientists, or not, well, maybe not scientists, who actually tried to see if that was plausible.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
They were bored. I mean, come on,
That
guys.
would be fun to do.
Yeah, right.
Let's take a giant like machine gun into the forest and try to
Gatling gun,
see what you can do.
and just grenades and just blow the forest out.
Oh, there's a spider.
Meanwhile, yeah, fucking spiders. Like, this is my last day on spider duty. I'm finally gonna retire tomorrow.
Must be a postal spider.
Yeah, exactly. The movie was made on a budget of 15 to 18 million and made in its box office 98.3 million. That's not considering all the sales. I mean, I bought this movie multiple times.
Oh yeah.
So the guys, as we said, they go into the jungle. They encounter these rebellious sort and have basically a nice solid action movie sequence. But what I like about this movie specifically, if I was to give it a brief synopsis over the film, I would say it's an action movie setup that slowly transforms into a survival horror sci-fi
Oh yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yep.
And that in itself is unique, especially of the time. And there were a whole spawn of like directors who's like, shit, man, we can film in the jungle. We can do some budge effects. We can push out some real serious films.
Dwayne Johnson went in and never came back out. They just go to him with cameras.
Well, I get that, but like, what's really cool about the movie is it isn't the setting is it's obviously it feels hot watching the movie. I mean, everybody's sweating, everybody's walking around toting like serious firepower. You've got this cloaking alien,
Mhm.
which is cool, and the concept is cool too. The predator hunts for sport. Like it obviously we're going everywhere, but like when he faces off against the Native American fellow, what character's name?
Billy.
Billy.
Yeah.
When he faces off against him, it's the only guy that he actually like pulls his spine and his skull out and like polishes the skull because that was like a for real like trophy kill.
He probably thought Billy was like a worthy opponent or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was an accomplishment to him. Whereas the other guys, it was just like, yeah, I'll skin him, whatever.
Blow his head up and
Yeah, dry shave boner. I'm just gonna zap him.
But it's like a rescue mission, though, right? It's not like
It starts as a
Yeah,
rescue
it starts as
mission.
a rescue mission because their people all disappeared or whatever.
Right.
now Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's Dutch, right?
Yes.
Because I thought he was Austrian.
Oh.
I see what you did there. There's no masking his accent. He tries. You know what? There's a lot of gifts from this movie, but I will say this about Arnold's performance in this movie. If the whole movie was just the soundtrack and it was say a silent film, I'm reading a lot about silent films. Future episode coming down the pike about old Hollywood. His facial expressions going just on that, and say a silent film aesthetic, is phenomenal. The guy has fucking charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a star, he's got likability. You root for him. He's got comic timing. I mean, stick around. That was ad lib technically. So like things like that, like he
He's also
knows.
a really sexy looking guy.
Yeah, like he's a good looking guy.
He is a complete package for any Hollywood movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was watching those as a kid, I was Arnold in my head. I was like, yeah, I'm in the jungle with my friends. We're hunting down the predator. We're gonna fuck this dude up.
Oh fuck, Josh is dead.
Makes me want to go into
my cousin.
makes me want to go into the closet and grab pictures because I had like a spike haircut my fifth grade
Yeah,
because of Arnold.
yeah.
So I was obsessed with Terminator 2.
Oh, dude.
yeah.
Future episode.
Oh yeah.
God, this movie is incredible. So, again, like different scenes. Josh, what do you think is the reason that it's still one of your favorites and stuck around for so long?
Well, I think there's going to be several things that contribute to this. One being I was allowed to watch an adult movie as a small kid.
Amen.
And so you're naturally going to be like, oh, this is fun. There's like explosions and stuff. That's cool. Like, cause, you know, as a little boy, a lot of us like playing army guys and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, have her fighting. It's the ultimate macho movie that you're just like, oh, these big, buff, handsome dudes are going into the forest with these machine guns and they're blasting shit all over the place. And then the horror aspect, because I'm a huge fan of horror movies, and you penned it perfectly. It becomes a horror movie, and the predator is just this dominating creature that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Dutch barely took down.
Right.
You know, so it's got the comedy in it, like those weird comedic scenes. It's got the action, and there was it's just magic. And Schwarzenegger, just in general, he's just probably my favorite male actor.
Would you say
Which
that
is
this
totally, sorry,
Oh, you're good.
I'm just going to say this, which is totally understandable given our age range. We grew up with this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, and who would have thought that not too long later we're seeing a movie like fucking Twins,
Yeah.
where it's like you find out that this dude, he had the comedic one-liners, but he's actually a funny guy.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, Total Recall is my favorite movie of all time. Arnold movie. My thing is, it's written from a Philip K. Dick amazing short story. They took it and turned it into basically like Predator, or not Predator, I'm sorry, They turned it into like Commando in space on Mars. I fucking love that movie. I think there's nothing I can knock it for. I love something that's silly but also has a serious premise. Like it's like
the three boobs help too.
The three boobs definitely.
Oh, they
help.
always help.
They even make me wish I had three things.
Honk, 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 honk.
Yeah. Mike, what were you gonna say there?
Oh, I was just gonna ask Josh if that was his first horror movie as a child.
Oh boy. Oh, probably.
Intro.
I would assume it was probably Predator, but I also remember seeing Hellraiser
Oh yeah.
at a very young age.
Future episode, future series, Halloween this year.
Halloween. I saw at a very young age. All the like the classics. I saw. I mean, when we're talking like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I've been
Good Lord.
indoctrinated into the.
Yeah.
And you're not a serial killer.
No, sorry.
Oh, don't apologize.
No, we like that you're not a serial killer.
I like myself.
But that's
Don't
the
kill
thing
me.
is that's what grew my love for Predator, Predator 2, the Halloween series is
Yeah.
Hellraiser, like these are all things that I've grown to love, and I don't know.
I think
it's kind of cool, like as an adult, finding other people that are into that shit. Because
it is. Well,
as a kid, it was like, hey guys, you want to watch Hellraiser? And they're like, no, we want to watch Men in Black.
Yeah, and you're like, what? Men in Black? That's pussy shit.
It's watching Schwarzenegger.
But it's true. Like I loved Arnold, and it was the same thing for me. My dad let me watch Terminator, the first one, when I was like 8.
Yep.
And I was
Lord.
like, ooh, boobies. And then, but then I loved Arnold. Like, and even in the Terminator, he has presence. He has this intense presence. He's scary as shit. Like, so I don't want to get too far off on a
We have
tangent.
Schwarzenegger boners.
We have Schwarzenegger boners, and it's fine. I love the guy. I love everything he was in.
The big and veiny, just like me.
But Last Action Hero even has a similar, like, when we would break the fourth wall, there was things like Last Action Hero, and it holds up to today.
That's
like,
a great film. It's amazing. It's
good, and it shows like kind of the way we were gonna go when we started smashing the fourth wall down with things like Scream, and horror specifically tends to be on the forefront. I would say in some ways the Thing is like a prequel to Predator. The Thing has that same like trapped in a certain area.
It starts off the same with the two alien ships.
But I would say
added by the studio, by the way.
I would say the Thing, it gets more intense though.
Oh,
there's
100%.
much more
horror versus
yeah.
action.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like you're on the edge of your seat. Intensity.
Yes, it's all about. There's this sense of claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you start hearing the bongos and your butthole tightens, you look around, you turn around.
And it's Pee Wee Herman.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please take a seat over here?
Oh, whoa.
Yes.
I see right here from my friend. I've got a printout here. It says Predator 69 420. You were texting with a young girl. The name's Chris Hansen. Please take a seat over here. This is Catching a Predator. I'm just saying.
Oh, I would love to see that movie.
Full disclosure, Mike came up with that in a thread between me and him, and I laughed so hard. If there's a comedy writer out there, you've been blessed. Please, I want to see an SNL Catching a Predator with an actual predator.
Oh my god, amazing!
I was you had me questioning. Did I see this on TV because it sounds familiar?
I have the transcripts right here.
Chris Hansen just sits him down. He's like, "Well, we gotcha." He's like,
he just instantly cloaks. Instantly turns into a cloak. Like, my predator mom is gonna be really angry.
You see him like disappear, then you hear a door open and shut.
Yeah, he's got a very important predator accounting job. He can't lose. Oh,
what are you doing here?
Yeah. says here, Mr. James P. Predator, you have been sending unsolicited vagina face pics to a young 14-year-old boy. We've got the evidence. Law enforcement is in the garage. We got a runner. Stop him. Interesting. So in the development of this said movie, following the release of Rocky IV, a joke circulated in Hollywood that since Rocky Balboa had run out of earthly opponents, he would have to fight an alien if a fifth film were to be made. This is according to Wikipedia on Predator. Screenwriters Jim and John Thomas took the inspiration from the joke and wrote a screenplay based on that, which to me says always take inspiration when you find it.
That's when he fights the Russian, isn't it? Is it 4 that is the Russian or is it 5?
I think that's the one where they have a robot. That's all I remember.
A robot?
Hey, Adrian, I got this robot. It's pretty cool. What'd you say? I can never understand it.
Robot. I got a marble in my mouth. Robot.
They have Stallone come in as the Predator.
Mr. Stallone says here that you like to shit on girls' chests. Please take a seat.
Could you take the marbles out of your mouth, please?
The original concept centered on a plot of what it is to be hunted. Now, the concept is pretty prevalent, like the man is the hardest to kill type thing.
Like the greatest game?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like wildest hunt or whatever. Man hunting man, but it's taken up like it's like an energy drink version, like a pre-90s thing, where it's like, hey, what if we throw in a fucking bicep super cock from space and he's just shooting fucking lasers and fucking coming green ooze and fucking splatting everywhere. Meanwhile, you got people running around in the forest. He's jizzing on the leaves. And I'm sure this is the 80s, so this is the height of Coke binge. Somewhere in another room, guys are like, this is the thing, right? This guy's like an android, but he's a cop, and he's like, protect and serve. And then meanwhile, he shoots the guy in the dick.
That's the worst. Why? Why did you shoot him in the dick?
Protect and serve.
He saw it on RoboCop.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, Hollywood was crazy at the time. You get inspiration, and this was a great idea. It's a great premise. As the Thomas brothers were first-time screenwriters with little credibility in Hollywood, they struggled to attract attention for their proposed film and eventually resorted to slipping the script under the door of 20th Century Fox producer Michael Levy, who would go on to serve as executive producer on the film's sequel, Predator 2. Let's take a minute to just talk about Predator 2. I think it's an underappreciated sequel. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Many times.
I think it's a good movie. It's self-contained. It does. What I love is in the opening how they show the jungle, and then when the camera pans up, it goes to the city.
Yeah.
It's like you remember the jungle.
They put them
We're
in
in the
the
concrete jungle.
yeah, they put them in an urban area, and
It's self-contained, similar to the jungle atmosphere of the first one. You've got Danny Glover as your lead, who's riding high. I mean, he's in Lethal Weapon around that time.
Oh, yeah. Those movies are great, by the way.
Great movies, great series. You go from that to having also you got Gary Busey, fucking toothy Gary Busey's like,
So good.
hey man, what's going on with these darn aliens all of a sudden, man? And it's a great performance. Again, you've got cool practical effects. We're talking 1990.
Well, and you have Predator with new gadgets.
Yeah, that
The
razor
net.
blade.
I love the net.
Yeah, the net.
well, it also shows you that there's more than one predator.
Yep.
So it introduces you to, which is I found interesting that they have Danny Glover, where like Arnold took this to not another level, but made the level, and then he disappeared.
And I think that is why I've probably, I haven't watched Predator as many times as you guys probably have. I've probably seen it a good like 8 to 10 times.
Yeah.
Predator 2, I think I've seen twice. And I really think it was because of the Arnold factor. Not that you can expect them to pull Arnold into the next Predator movie, because that would just seem so unrealistic. You know what I mean? That it happened to him all over again.
Well,
It probably wouldn't be as good.
No, But it's
what's going on here?
but you go from Arnold, and no offense to Danny Glover because he's great, but it was just
It felt
It
like
was
the
fucking
B
Arnold.
team.
it
Yeah.
did, and not. I mean, it wasn't a B movie; it was a good
No.
movie, but it kind of felt like that.
I get it.
You know what
it's
I'm
like
saying?
it's the House of the Dragon versus Game of Thrones type of thing. It's a
Yeah.
different place, same world, but it's like, where's Tyrion?
Right.
I almost
Where's
feel
the
like we
helm?
could easily
Yeah.
talk about all the sequels, and whatnot, like the second segment. There's a lot there.
Yeah, well, I mean, like we're kind of heading in that territory, but I want to go through some more just behind the scenes because this is all pretty fascinating. So, Silver and Gordon first approached Arnold Schwarzenegger with the lead role, and Schwarzenegger said, "The first thing I look for in a script is a good idea. The majority of scripts are rip-offs of other movies. People think they can become successful overnight. They sat down one weekend and wrote a script because they read that Stallone did that with Rocky. Predator was one of the scripts I read. It bothered me in one way. It was just me and the alien. So we did the whole thing so that it was a team of commandos. And then I liked the idea. I thought it would make a much more effective movie, be much more believable. I liked the idea of starting out with an action adventure, but then coming in with some horror and sci-fi." That was my Arnold impression. But yeah, no, I think he realistically, it's true. Like he flipped you flip the script, and that's intriguing. Rather than just doing your meat and potatoes action film, which is totally great, and I'll take it. I will eat that meat and potatoes. Nom nom nom.
Yeah, they could have realistically not had a alien at all, and it just be what the first half of the movie is, just more of it, and it would have still been a perfect.
It could have been like what
Yeah.
like Dylan betraying him, and then it's like a mano y mano,
Yeah,
the two of them facing off.
I think it would have been cool just to like still have the Predator, but to take the alien ship away and be like, there's something out here. Because back then you didn't have movie trailers. Like everyone was just like,
Well, you had movie trailers
when
but
you were in the
yeah.
theater seeing a trailer for it, but like there was no internet during that time, no spoilers, no nothing. But I think it would.
I see what you're saying.
But you see what I'm saying, like to eliminate the spacecraft,
Yep.
and be like, what is killing all these guys? It's like, is this a monster? Is this an alien? Like, what's going on?
Well, that kind of is the vibe that I got when I saw the most recent Predator movie, Prey, which I'm gonna say right now is
Really good.
probably my second favorite of the
absolutely.
Predator
That was
franchise.
fucking awesome.
Such a fun movie, great popcorn film to just sit down with your honey or your buds and just dive in. And it has this more like especially when you go with these type of movies, the less is more is always the best route. Like The Thing specifically is my favorite horror movie of all time.
Same.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like there are questions that are answered and then questions that aren't answered.
Yeah.
And the imagination is a wild motherfucker. Even the sound of bongos could send you
Like TJ
screaming.
or
Push you out of your fucking chair.
fall out of the chair.
And that's real. It's real, man. Just a little like Danny Elfman spooky score and like Edward Scissorhands can make you think, oh, what kind of gothic terror am I in for? But it ends up being a fairy tale.
Yeah, God, that's such a good movie too. Like, yeah, you hear like Ice Dance.
Mm-hmm.
That song it's beauty personified,
Yeah.
but it's also like then you think of the movie, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Well, it's like, Winona, why don't you love Johnny Depp or whatever? You might cut your face off, but it's cool. Flip it back on somehow.
Something I remember April finding they made like a porn remake of that. It's called like Edward Penis
Boner
Man.
hands.
Yeah, like instead of scissors, each one is like a dick.
Wow.
I love that.
Are they all flaccid or are
They're
they like
women's
super
legs,
hard?
and they just scissor each other.
Like it showed like the dinner scene, and like it's just coming on everybody. Like they're wearing waves them around.
I'm gonna look this up when I get home.
Yeah, we need to watch. We need to like, get on like a Zoom call, four of us, and hit play all the same time.
We should do a porn parody episode for
Mike,
sure.
why is your monitor moving?
Dude, porn parody.
Porn bloopers.
Oh God. So anyway, so casting Silver and Gordon first approached Arnold. Obviously, he was the big get for the film. Um, there, he had previously starred in Commando, also a great movie, on which Silver had served as producer. To play the elite band of soldiers, both Silver and Gordon, with co-producer John Davis, searched for other larger-than-life men of action. Carl Weathers, who had been memorable as boxer Apollo Creed in the Rocky films, was their first choice to play Dylan, while professional wrestler and former Navy SEAL Jesse the Body Ventura was hired for his formidable physique as Blaine, co-starring with Schwarzenegger the same year in The Running Man. You love that movie, Josh?
Oh yeah,
Based
it's
on
a video game basically.
Yeah, and it's based on Stephen King's
So
story.
fun.
Also cast were Sonny Landham, Richard Chavez, and Bill Duke. I love Bill Duke. He's super memorable. He's the dry shave boner. Got the other black guy.
The other black.
The black. Black.
Jeez.
Sorry,
And he always,
but he's amazing. African American fellow.
he's always shaving when he gets nervous.
Yeah, he's always shaving when he gets nervous. He has some of the most memorable scenes. It's his voice. There's something about his voice.
Have me some. I'm gonna have me some.
He's what leads to the big shooting sequence. Basically, he's like, "Fuck you,
Through
kill
them.
my buddy."
What did you say? He's like through them trees.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah.
They're like half the movie
Yeah.
is the camera panned up and just looking at trees.
Yeah.
If you watch it again, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I think that's a bird right there.
Yeah.
It's a monkey.
It's just atmospheric
Yeah.
to the nth degree. I gotta say, as far as the cast, everybody is bringing their A game.
Yeah.
So many memorable and like short, quick scenes where, I mean, yeah, you could be all politically correct about some of the lines, but it's of its time, and these are soldiers. What else do you expect? Like Jesse's got some great lines.
So good looking Alabama tick.
Yeah, things
Bleed,
don't
man.
get like
Got time.
ain't got time to bleed. It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I mean, that's just what any man wants to say anytime he hurts himself while working with power tools.
Arnold one-ups him though, or one-ups him with if it bleeds, you can kill it, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Now, speaking of other action icons of the time, Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast as the Predator with the intent that the physical action star would use his martial arts skills to make the Predator an agile ninja-like hunter.
But he kept kicking. That's all he did was kicking. And I believe when the director said, you need to stop kicking, like he was like, kiss my balls, and he walked off.
My balls.
It's my praying mantis nuts.
Right here, take it right on your chin. But when the 5'9" Van Damme was compared to Schwarzenegger, Weathers, and Ventura, actors over 6 feet tall and known for their bodybuilding regimens, became apparent a more physically imposing man was needed to make the creature appear threatening.
Shaquille O'Neal. Hey, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm the Predator. Watch out. Somebody bring me some Papa John's.
Turn around.
I just wanted some Papa John's. They started shooting at me. What the fuck? Hey, y'all, can you all stop running? My feet hurts. I'm going to sit here on this tree.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot lasers. He whips them with his dick.
Exactly. So, as it was, he allegedly had also repeatedly voiced reservations about only appearing on camera in the suit. Additionally, the original design for the Predator was felt to be too cumbersome and difficult to manage in the jungle, and even with a more imposing actor, did not provoke enough fear. Van Damme was removed from the film and replaced by 7'2" Kevin Peter Hall, who had just finished work as Sasquatch, as Josh said, from Harry and the Henderson. Now, interestingly enough, there was like a pink-red suit that they were using, basically because you needed to be able to see where the creature was when they were doing like shooting and stuff. And I think it was Arnold who called up his buddy Stan Winston, especially after doing Terminator and having those great effects. And was like, dude, we need something like to really pop. We can't have this fucking
Big
vagina.
Barney thing moving around the forest.
I would love to see a cut of the Predator where the Predator is Barney just running through the woods.
Jurassic Park, but with Barney.
I love you.
Someone's done that.
Get to the chopper. Hey, I just want a hug. But I mean, like, yeah, that is great. And also, it was on a plane flight because Stan was sketching out the design. James Cameron was similarly on the plane, and it was him who said you should make it so that his face has mandibles, aka the vagina mouth. So,
You know, if Van Damme had just stuck around, he would have had the scene at the end of the film when Kevin Peter Hall is the helicopter pilot. It's only on screen for about 3 seconds, but you know that's beside the point.
I mean, it's realistically, I, as a huge film nerd, always love to know who the big people are that are under the makeup or the creatures. Robert Englund, obviously, all the horror icons. You've got, we met him. I'm trying to think, the guy that played Jason Voorhees.
Oh,
Why am I blanking on that guy's name?
Come on, Josh.
There's like multiple. I mean, with Mike Myers and Jason Voorhees, there's been like tons and tons and tons. Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We talked to him for like 20 minutes.
There's a band called
one
Kane Hodder.
One of the nicest dudes on the planet. Yeah, there should be a band called Kane Hodder.
There is one. I toured with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Rockstar TJ with his rockstar stories. Were they cool?
Yeah, they were cool.
Right. Yep. Shout out Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, what's up?
According to Schwarzenegger, filming was physically demanding. The actor and former bodybuilder shipped gym equipment to Mexico and trained intensely every day before shooting began, usually with his co-stars. Screenwriter Jim Thomas was impressed with the training regimen and said, "I think that phrase, manly men, was coined during the production of Predator." And it is, like I said, this is manly. It's not homoerotic, like say something like Top Gun, but it's like you feel like you're hanging, like it's a hangout dudes movie. Yeah, exactly.
Smoke cigars.
Have some
sip
like
whiskey.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be a little bit more classy. Be like, yeah, I have like brandy or something.
Some scotch.
There you go.
And a cigar.
Both McTiernan and Schwarzenegger lost 25 pounds during the film. That's how hot it was. I mean, like, and they're working out. Schwarzenegger's weight loss was a professional choice, while McTiernan lost the weight because he avoided the food in Mexico due to health concerns, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Unlike McTiernan, most of the cast and crew suffered from traveler's diarrhea since the Mexican hotel in which they were living had problems with its water purifier.
I have to runs again.
Dude, not to get too off track, but I experienced that once. It was the worst. So we Still Remains went and played like a festival in Mexico, and somehow, I don't know, it was because we ate fruit that was washed in the water. You know, we were not drinking the main water, but I think it was like 5 out of 6 of us came back, and it was brutal.
That sucks. Yeah, you've never actually been to Mexico before, have you?
No.
All right. Well, when we
I've had Taco Bell. Is that the same?
I crossed the border. And you get the diarrhea too, so it's the whole experience.
So, in an interview, Carl Weathers said the actors would secretly wake up as early as 3 a.m. to work out before the day's shooting. Weathers also stated that he would act as if his physique was naturally given to him and would work out only after the other actors were nowhere to be seen. Maybe he had a little stage fright when it came to pounding the weights. I don't know. The guy's amazing, like so built. Like they are in peak fucking condition.
Would you want to work out with Schwarzenegger?
I would spot him.
Yeah, I guess
I would not spot him because if he dropped, I'd be like, "Oh, you're screwed, bro. I can't lift that."
I spot him from a very safe distance.
Mike, spot me. What are you doing? You are walking away. Do you have any mates?
Although, to be fair,
I have cocaine.
No. The Schwarzenegger documentary, when I saw that a couple weeks ago, a lot of people attest to like, yeah, it's actually really cool to work out with him because he just pushes you to a point where didn't realize he could get to.
Mm.
And that's what a lot of people are like, yeah, like he made me love doing this even more.
Yeah, and then that's the thing is that it's like any of those great like those imposing like you can feel like somebody who's a creative you meet other creatives all the time, and sometimes it can be like a bit imposing to be like, oh, this guy wrote all these incredible like things on a guitar.
This guy did a tour in Mexico.
Yeah, but then there's also human people. They're fallible. There's things. There's stories. And a lot of times, like really like positive creators or people in arts, generally they want to see everybody else succeed, and that's my take. Like I want it. That's why I do the silly Spotify ads, because it is a free thing and they will pay you. And you should do podcasting if you have a story you want to tell, or try it out. Do anything, man. The world is your oyster. But getting to Kevin Peter Hall, who also we didn't touch on yet, sadly passed away after this.
Yeah, he was only like 35 or something when he died.
Indeed. Schwarzenegger also faced the challenge of working with Kevin Peter Hall, who could not see in the Predator suit. The actor recalled that when he's supposed to slap me around and stay far from my face, all of a sudden, whap, there's this hand with claws on it. Hall stated in an interview that his experience on the film wasn't a movie, it was a survival story for all of us. For example, in the scene where the Predator chases Dutch, the water was foul, stagnant, and full of leeches. Hall could not see out of the mask and had to rehearse the scenes with it off and memorize where everything was. The outfit was difficult to wear because it was heavy and affected his balance. Now, I've heard two things from filmmakers. Don't shoot on water and don't shoot in the jungle. Because everything that's being shot has to have cables, lighting, best boys, grips, catering. Where are you gonna put the grilled cheese sandwiches? I don't know.
On top of that big bug net.
Don't eat the grilled cheese. But yeah, like you have those elements all around you. Water is historically not fun with electronics. So
I wonder how the humidity was with those cameras.
Oh, it's probably
every 5 minutes having to wipe the lens.
Yeah.
We said they lost 25 pounds. I'm sure the sound guy lost like 100.
Yeah.
Guys, are we ready to film? I'm trapped in the sound booth. It's 2,000 degrees in here. John McTiernan's just chomping on a cigar. Where's the sound guy? Fucking weirdo. Skeleton with headphones on. So the visual effects. Talk about this. The original Predator creature was created by Richard Edlund of Boss Film Studios and was disproportionate, ungainly creature with large yellow eyes and a dog-like head. Nowhere near as agile as necessary for what the filmmakers had intended. As I said, ultimately John McTiernan consulted Stan Winston. Winston had previously worked with Schwarzenegger as visual effects for The Terminator. While on a plane ride in Fox Studios alongside Aliens director James Cameron, Winston sketched monster ideas, and Cameron suggested he had always wanted to see a creature with mandibles. Greenberg Associates created the film's optical effects, including the alien's ability to become invisible, its thermal vision point of view, its glowing blood, and the electrical spark effects. The invisibility effect was achieved by having someone wearing a bright red suit because it was the farthest opposite of the green of the jungle and the blue of the sky. The size of the Predator, the red was removed with chroma key techniques, leaving an empty area. The take was then repeated without the actors using a 30% wider lens on the camera. When the two takes were combined optically, the jungle from the second take filled in the empty area because the second take was filmed with a wider lens. A vague outline of the alien could be seen with the background scenery bending around it.
Now, I just want to say, great movie. Love The Predator. But I think the Predator is kind of a little bitch. He's like this master fucking hunter, and he uses an invisibility cloak. Come on. Is anybody on board with me on that?
They nerfed him a little bit.
I get that idea, but if you think of like classic hunters, they all use camo.
Pussies.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm talking about. John, so he's on board.
And to be honest, too, thinking about it from that angle, I mean, if you watch Prey, Prey took place back in the 1700s or 1600s or something like that, and you get this guy, and even at that point in that movie, he was far more technologically advanced than anything here. I mean, granted, he was fighting in that movie with more handheld things, wasn't he? But he was more advanced for sure. Just you can tell that species is so much more advanced than humans. You know what I mean? Like,
again, leading the imagination to ponder, like, what are these fuckers like on their planet?
Yeah.
Like,
if he can shoot laser bombs at me, yeah, he can turn invisible.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended to pursue the comics and the books, because that's when you really get to understand the species and why they're hunting. And you could, look to like Alien versus Predator for also, a little bit more into that. But like a lot of times that what these guys are doing, they're just, some of them are students, like they're learning to become a hunter.
Yeah.
So
they're almost like Spartan trained, like as a young kids, like like I'm sorry, I don't get into lore and shit, but did you know humans also have a cloaking ability? Cover yourself in mud.
Yes.
Spoiler.
That's a great sequence, by the way.
But
it's set up. I mean, like most things in these action movies, almost like the scene explains what it's doing visually, and it's so cool. Like that scene alone, like, sets up so much. You understand so much about the Predator.
Yeah,
but also,
I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm just like kind of shitting on it.
No, it's fine. It's totally cool.
Yeah, this super advanced technological species, and they can't see through mud.
Yeah.
Maybe mud doesn't exist anywhere else.
They should be able to see Arnold's eyes. It's not covered in mud.
You're right. I never thought about that. Well, I always thought of that part of the masking was the trees that he's under, because they're all covered in mud as well. The way the shot is, and he's just kind of like trying not to breathe, trying not to move.
His sensor goes on heat signature, and all your heat's in your head, it's in your balls, it's in your hands, it's in your feet.
Right, I get that. I mean, there's I'm sure there's some weird, stupid like YouTube channels like Cinema Sins, Predator. Obviously, he could have taken his mask off. Instead, he decides to shoot a banana rat or whatever. Then he runs off. But like, yeah, I'm sure you could poke holes in it. But for what it is,
all I'm doing.
Between the soundtrack, the acting, the fun of the movie, it's just fun to watch. Josh is like,
I'm just remembering something about the movie that always it inevitably will always make me laugh, and that's towards the end of the film, when Schwarzenegger, he goes after the Predator himself. He's hunting him.
Yeah.
And he falls into the water, and he's coming out of the water. And this is right before the big confrontation between the two of them, right?
Right.
He climbs up, and there's a log on the ground, and he goes, grabs it, he's like, what the fuck is that? Is this thing made of plastic? Seriously, go back and watch that scene. It just, the sound it makes when he touches this log, I'm like, just makes me laugh.
It probably was plastic. There's plastic everywhere, man.
That's true. They were like, for the love of Christ on a cookie, get us through this fucking scene so we can go to bed, get up at 3 and work out again.
Bring in the plastic logs. Gotta get through it.
It is hot as fucking Satan's asshole out here. I just want to get back in my trailer and do blow. Hang out with my Mexican sex workers. So, obviously, the effects are great. It was actually nominated for Best Visual Effects. But it did not win. It was nominated, though.
I wonder what it lost to.
We'll get to that.
Probably Barbie, 1986.
87.
Oh, 87, yeah.
Now, the music was composed by Alan Silvestri, who was coming off the huge success of Back to the Future, which is why the soundtrack's so awesome. I mean, Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can totally hear that. Wow.
No, but
we just watched Back to the Future a couple weeks ago. And Edward Scissorhands. It's funny that you guys are mentioning this movie.
Because we love you.
My wife didn't see Predator until like last year.
Oh.
She had never seen it, and I made her sit with me and watch it.
That's
what
awesome.
did you think?
We watched that and Prey. She liked both of them.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, see, this is the thing with my lady. as long as there's aliens in it, she'll watch it. We just watched Fire in the Sky the other day. She'd never seen that, like the alien abduction movie from the 90s.
Okay.
Oh,
It has like crazy practical effects when he's like abducted.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a sequence that's just like I'm watching it and I'm like, if I had seen that, because I didn't see it when I was young. I saw it maybe in like 2000s ish.
Yeah, yeah.
But the practical effects of his abduction and when he's put on like an alien operating table, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that's probably why I was able to get my wife to watch it though, is because it's got the horror aspect to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, sci-fi is one thing, but it does have the horror thing, and I think that's why I got her to watch Alien with me too here.
Yeah.
You know, we watched, I think, all of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
We watched all the Aliens movies. Well, not the Predator ones too, but just the kind of the main.
Alien versus
like
Predator.
Prometheus and
Yeah, we watched Prometheus. Yeah, and those are really cool.
Yeah, there's some
that's great.
incredible scenes in Prometheus. I love Michael Fassbender in that. Yeah, that's a key to anybody who wants to suggest movies for me and Casey to watch. As long as it's got aliens in it, she's down. So,
But it's that horror aspect.
yeah. So Predator was his first major action movie, and the score is full of familiar genre characteristics, heavy horn blasts, staccato string rhythms, and undulating timpani rolls that highlight the action and suspense. Little Richard's song Long Tall Sally, which will be featured in the end of this episode, is featured in the helicopter en route to the jungle. Mac also recites a few lines from the song as he's chasing the predator after it escapes from their booby trap. Silvestri returned for the sequel, making him the only composer to have scored more than one film in either the Alien or Predator series.
another fun fact is it's a deleted scene, but Anna is the only person in all of the Predator films to have been in two. Because in the second movie, she actually did have a cameo, but they cut the scene.
Oh,
Ah,
Interesting. I wonder why they said it.
I find it funny that Macaulay Culkin set up all those traps for the Predator, like in Home Alone. That's what it was. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
Well-
and like the Predator left Arnold Schwarzenegger alone for hours so he could set up all those traps.
It would have been great if they got the guy that played Marv, what's his name, to play the Predator. What's his name? Oh God, he was in like
Yeah.
City
Home
Slickers.
Alone.
Like, yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
Home Alone. He was in Home Alone. He was in Home Alone 2 as well.
Like have Schwarzenegger as Colt.
Oh,
I'll get you with my Hot Wheels.
What was his name, Ryan? Are you looking it up?
yeah.
Is Danny something?
Daniel Stern
Daniel Stern.
Keep
Yeah.
the change, you
Daniel
filthy
Stern.
animal.
played Marv Merchant.
You'd be real funny when the
Hey, Mom, how many fingers-
his face.
How many fingers am I holding up, Mom? My kids fucking love that.
I love it. I love it.
Fucking Marv. Hey Harry, I'm the Predator. Watch this. I'm gonna skin this kid alive.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Predator was first released on VHS on January 21st, 1988. It was later released on DVD on December 26, 2000. The film was later released on Blu-ray on April 15, 2008.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Hey, you didn't fall out of your fucking chair.
I'm pretty secure here.
This whole episode I've been over here laughing by myself. Can't believe it. No.
I'm literally replaying the whole movie now with that thought process.
It'll be a YouTube clip.
There you
Yeah.
go. So we talked about the box office. Obviously, dudes were like, "Yeah, this movie's fucking legit." Do you see all the boners in it? But the critical response from contemporary reviews, Janet Maslin of the New York Times described the film as grisly and dull with few surprises, which is just stupid. Critics were dumb then; they're dumb now. Chris Hewitt of Empire wrote, "Predator has gradually become a sci-fi and action classic. It's not difficult to see why. John McTiernan's direction is claustrophobic, fluid, and assured, staging the action with aplomb, but concentrating just as much on tension and atmosphere, a thumping piece of powerhouse cinema." Peter Sutherman of Reason magazine noted that over the last 30-odd years, it has come to be regarded as a classic of 80s action cinema. Audience polled by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of B+ on an A+ to F scale. which is pretty good.
Coming up on 40 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
That's a long time. That sucks.
Like 2 years Back to the Future is going to be 40 years old.
That's insane.
30?
40.
40.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Predator has appeared on a number of best-of lists. In 2007, C. Robert Cardle of Real Networks resource Film.com ranked Predator as the 7th best film of 1987, calling it one of the great sci-fi action horror films, often imitated but never properly duplicated, not even by its own sequel. Entertainment Weekly named it the 22nd greatest action film of all time in 2007 and the 14th among the best rock'em sock'em movies of the past 25 years in 2009, saying Arnold Schwarzenegger has never been as manly as he was in this alien hunting testosterone fest. In 2012, IGN proclaimed it the 13th greatest action movie of all time. In 2008, Empire Movie ranked it 366 on their list of the 500 greatest movies of all time. Predator was ranked 4th in a 2015 Rolling Stone reader poll of the all-time greatest action film. It was described by reporter Andy Green as freaking awesome. In a 2018 review for IGN, William Bibani called Predator the most subversive action movie of the 80s and cites examples from the film of satire of the action film genre as a whole. In his review, he writes, Predator may be a big macho action movie, but it's also highly critical of the kinds of characters you'd normally find in big macho action movies and the superficial, unquestioningly heroic stories they appear in. And I like that because it has a diverse cast for the most part.
I would say the only other movie that really can compare to it would almost be like First Blood.
Oh, Rambo.
Like that's the only one that comes close to being in that same
like manly realm.
Yeah. Having the trap set up.
Very macho.
Yeah.
Such a great movie.
Hot Shots Part 2.
That would you compared that to?
Yeah.
I love those movies.
I do too. They're so good.
Actually, my first date ever was to see Hot Shots 2.
Really?
With a girl.
That's awesome. That movie was great. I watched it recently again. I had to. It was on HBO, I think.
Yeah,
freaking hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's you know, I miss when Charlie Sheen was in movies because he was such a good lead.
He was a great comic lead. Like in the Major League movies were freaking hilarious.
So good. But anyway, so got a few more things about this. So as we mentioned, the Academy Award. When it came time to recognize the Predator with an Academy Award nomination, the combination of techniques used had the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences officials unsure as to which category the Predator belonged. The mechanical features of the character's head suggested the makeup effects category, but due to the camouflage effect, there was a visual effects aspect to the character as well. Ultimately, Stan Winston was nominated for an Oscar for Predator in the Best Visual Effects category, just as he had for Aliens. Aliens is my favorite alien film of all time. That was one of the first movies in case we watched together. That's cool. But he and his co-nominees lost the effects team from Inner Space.
Wow, Inner Space.
Mm-hmm. That's another good one, though. I do love that movie.
Yeah,
Martin
it's
Short.
a long time since I've seen that, but that had a profound effect. I think on me when I was a kid. American
sci-fi comedy film directed by Joe Dante of that would be Gremlins.
Wow.
Yeah, Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch. Underrated, just as good as the first.
Oh man,
that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Gremlins 2 when it starts playing Slayer and he turns into the spider gremlin.
Oh, I love that.
That's such a cool scene.
It's such a fun. As a kid, it was just like a romp of silliness.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like one of those gremlins like all turned into like a giant ball and started rolling over people and like killing them and shit. I was terrified.
It looked like Looney Tunes to me, though.
Oh, dude, it was not me. I was like, oh my god, that person was just eaten alive.
Yeah, the first one's definitely more. It seemed more like a horror movie.
Yeah, well, we watch it now and it's like, oh my god, this is fucking.
We rewatched the first one about a year and a half ago, and it was like I could see how this could be considered horror-ish, especially for kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gremlins 2 though, that's just goofy.
future episode. So, yeah, they lost to Inner Space, unfortunately. But in the same year, the Academy had categorized the Predator creature as a visual effect. It honored Rick Baker with an Oscar, Best Make category for his work on Harry and the Hendersons. So that's good. This was despite the fact that Harry had been achieved in exactly the same way that the Predator had, with a performer wearing a suit and mechanical head. In fact, the same actor, Kevin Peter Hall, performed in both. So, yeah, there's a video game. Arnold Schwarzenegger reprises Dutch in the 2020 Predator video game, Predator Hunting Grounds. Have you played any Predator video games?
I've played all the Predator hunting games, or all the Predator games. Hunting Ground is fine. It just the problem with it is it wasn't very popular, and you need to have other people to really enjoy the game.
I get it.
I played Predator in real life. I just
Mike, I need you to
I don't
take
go
a
into
seat
houses
over here.
Like a Predator D&D type adventure.
yeah, like that.
I get it.
That actually could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like you play as the mercenary group, like Dutch and like the Commandos, and then the DM is Predator.
The Dungeon Master is Predator. Oh.
Turn around. God, what else is there to say? I think we pretty much covered it all.
All of it? We're not going to take a break and come back?
What are we gonna do, dude? It's where we were now.
What? I want to hang out with you guys.
Well, I love hanging out with you too, and you can hang out. And we just and I'll kind of round this out. We just taped our 50th episode. And I want to say thanks to you guys for being excellent co-hosts, being on the show. The show has been a success. You guys have, I mean, we just got another rating today, and everybody who's out there who's listening, we fucking love you guys. This is a passion project for me. Doing this is something that really sunk into me, and next year will be 10 years of doing this.
Sunk in like an Alabama tick.
Exactly. But no, having like Mike and Tej come along on this journey and this era and this.
What about Josh?
Show. Josh has
been there.
Josh has been
around
there
for a long time.
That's why he's so good at it. You all are great, and everybody is. Everything I've heard has been glowing praise, and I'm really, really proud. I mentioned it in episode 50, but I guess I'll give a little early notice here. This first season will end in the end of November, and then December there'll be a best of with clips and stuff, and I've been taking clips pretty much from every episode. And then we will be on break until February when season 2 starts. And when season 2 starts, there will not be 2 episodes a week. We will be shifting back to 1 because, good Lord, doing 2 was a gamble. But I think it's paid off because we already got to 50 episodes, and that usually takes much longer time to get to where we are at currently. But there's a wealth of stuff. So please share with a friend, 5 stars, join the Discord. I just added a book club, and all the books that I'm reading to cover for episodes that are coming down the line, especially the deep history episodes, I have sources that'll be listed there and everything, and that's all I want to say. But I wanted to throw it to you guys, and especially Tej, because there are newness out there.
Newness. Yeah. So working on Glassfield stuff, obviously. Yeah. So
I couldn't be more excited.
It's turning out pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just so excited about the tones that they captured and everything else, and being able to track vocals on it's a lot of fun so far. And then I just released my projects, it's like my personal projects. First song. It's a demo technically, but we threw it up on all streaming services and on Bandcamp. The band is called Dead.me. I guess that's how you want to spell it.
Yeah,
Dead Me.
It's on all the all the streaming services, Bandcamp. But also, I want to say, speaking of, you mentioned it being a demo, one of our listeners of the podcast listened to it right away and posted on the Discord, and said, right off the bat, he's like, "This does not sound like a demo."
That's
that high praise.
So the there's two other guys that are a part of it right now. There will be more when we like start playing shows. But Jordan Gilliam, who used to be in Still Remains in the very very first year with me, and then my friend Matt Marquez, he plays drums in a band called Norma Jean. They're kind of like a legendary like a hardcore band, that kind of like started kind of shaped a lot of stuff. But they were shaped by bands like Botch and Dillinger and stuff like that.
Me like a super group.
But it's me and Matt and Jordan right now, and he's great in the studio. So for us, going to band practices, it's just us going just into the studio and kind of hashing stuff out. So this stuff sounded pretty cool, like quality wise, just because he's great at production, he's a great engineer too. So
can't wait.
Shoot, I remember listening to Norma Jean like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I was starting college, and my buddy's like, "Hey, you like heavy metal? Have you heard of Norma Jean?" I'm like,
have you heard of Outkast?
Yeah.
Here's DMX.
Hey, have you guys heard of Weird Al?
Dude, that's a love right there.
That's another episode. But yeah, there'll be links to that, and also Matt, your drummer, does locally would be down to work with other musicians. So if there's any local Grand Rapids, or we'll say Grand Rapids area, or even Michigan listeners who want to look him up, we'll add a little link to him.
That'd be great. Or if anybody has questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook. I can get you in touch with Matt. He'll play drums for your band if you've got a song where you need drums, and he's got great sounding drums, great software, super talented drummer.
Is he local?
Yeah, he's right in Jenison here.
Really?
So, yeah. But he can do anything for you, internationally. Just hit me up and we in touch. His rates are awesome. You won't find somebody with better rates, especially in our area.
Totally, and that really goes out to. I know there's a lot of guys who sit in their basement who record demos and are looking to. I know, Josh, you have a band now, but I'm saying for the guys
that was me though.
The guys who record demos at home who would like to have a really polished product and something cool to just get something rolling. Even.
Yeah, something that you have a demo to send to a venue, or a demo to kick off to a label, even
or kick off to send to other musicians to join.
Yeah. He can add drums to whatever song you want. If you just play guitar to a click track or something like that, get in touch with them. He'll throw drums down and done. There you go.
Oh, this could be fun. Josh, you're still looking for a band name, right?
Not really.
No? Oh, bummer. I was going to say, listeners, get into the Discord and let's find Josh a band name.
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death. That's
right. That's
I was like, oh shit. Cool. And then I'm like, wait, that's what I'm drinking.
Death Sprite.
Dude, that's actually kind of cool.
It is.
So I told Ryan this. I sprung. I paid a little bit of money.
Sprung right now?
I did earlier. I paid a little bit of money to, Cameo.
Yeah.
Are
you on Cameo?
I paid $10 trillion for Cameo.
Holy shit.
For this.
Can I have some money?
A lot of
money.
Yeah. You guys want to hear this real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna play this for them. You're gonna hear it in the episode, but they don't know about this yet. And we love you guys, and we'll see you next week.